Who will be the world's next Queen Regnant? Thank you to Atlas Coffee Club for sponsoring this video. In 2013, Queen Beatrix of the Netherlands stepped down. In 2022, Queen Elizabeth II of the UK died. And in 2024, Queen Margrethe II of Denmark abdicated. All three passed their thrones to sons. In just 10 years, the world has gone from 3 accomplished, popular, and long-reigning Queens Regnant to 0. That's right, there are no female monarchs anywhere in the world. The future may be female, but not in the archaic system of hereditary monarchy. However, there are several female heirs waiting in succession lines to be the next Queen Regnant. Let's take a look at which monarchies even allow women to occupy their thrones, and count down from those which will have to wait a few generations before getting a female sovereign, to those which are only one heartbeat or abdication away from crowning the world's next Queen Regnant. Of the 29 independent monarchies which still survive in the world today, 11 pass their thrones by agnatic primogeniture, meaning the crown goes to the monarch's eldest son, and females and their descendants are excluded entirely. These are the monarchies of Bahrain, Brunei, Japan, Jordan, Lesotho, Liechtenstein, Morocco, Oman, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia. Unless they change their laws, they will not be giving the world a female monarch ever. The same goes for Malaysia, Vatican City, Cambodia, and Kuwait, which all have elective monarchies but also bar women from the top job. The African kingdom of Eswatini has a unique system. New kings are selected from among the previous king's sons based on the virtues of his mother. Kings of Eswatini practice polygamy, so there are usually at least a dozen mothers to choose from. She becomes the queen mother and is the spiritual leader of the kingdom, while her son is the king and political leader. Technically, Eswatini is a diarchy, and technically it does currently have a sovereign queen, Mfumbi. While she is not a queen regnant in the strictest sense, her role was considered significant enough by Andy Warhol to be included in his 1985 silkscreen series, Reigning Queens. But let's look at the 13 monarchies whose succession laws mean they have the possibility of a caveat-free female monarch. 4 monarchies, Bhutan, Monaco, Spain, and Tonga, pass their thrones by male preference primogeniture. This means brothers are ahead of their sisters in the line of succession, but women are allowed to inherit if they don't have any surviving brothers. Thailand has a selective succession which favors men but does allow women. Finally, 7 nations, Belgium, Denmark, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, and the United Kingdom, pass their thrones by absolute primogeniture, meaning females and males are equal, and each new baby in the direct succession is a 50-50 flip of a coin between a future king or future queen. Additionally, the Principality of Andorra is an elective diarchy, which could potentially have a sovereign princess. Let's take a look at each of these 13 monarchies which do allow women to reign, and rank them based on the sex and age of the people in the current line of succession, and if they have a tradition of abdication, to find out which nation is likely to break the current dry spell on queens. The monarchy which will likely have to wait the longest before it's headed by a woman is Luxembourg. This small grand duchy instituted absolute primogeniture in 2011, so their male-dominated succession line is down to a lot of Y chromosomes in the gene pool. Grand Duke Henri has 3 sons and 1 daughter. His eldest son, hereditary Grand Duke Guillaume, is heir apparent. His eldest son, Prince Charles, was born in 2020. Luxembourg can't expect a female sovereign for at least the next 2 generations. If Charles's first child is a daughter, then she would be Grand Duchess after him. Luxembourg does have a tradition of monarchs abdicating and passing the throne to their heirs. Henri's father, Jean, abdicated in 2000 at the age of 79. So if Charles abdicates around the age of 80 and he has a daughter, Luxembourg might get a Grand Duchess around the year 2100. However, things don't always go as planned. There have been numerous cases throughout history where the eldest sibling didn't manage to take or hold the throne, and it was passed further down the succession. However, in Luxembourg, the third and fourth people in line are also male. Charles just got a baby brother, Francois, in 2023. After him is Guillaume's younger brother, Felix. The first female in the current line of succession is Felix's daughter, Amalia, who is fifth in line. Bhutan. This Himalayan constitutional monarchy passes their throne via male preference primogeniture. The current Dragon King, Jigme Kisar Namgyel Wangchuck, has 2 sons and a daughter. The eldest, Crown Prince Jigme Namgyel Wangchuck, born in 2016, is heir apparent. Bhutan has a strong tradition of monarchs retiring. It is written into their constitution that if an heir is at least 21 when the monarch turns 65, then the parent must abdicate and hand over the raven crown. Kisar Namgyel will turn 65 in 2045, at which time his son will be 29. If, for any reason, Namgyel is not able to become king, his brother Ugyen is the next in line. Both would have to be ineligible for their little sister, Sonam Yangginto, to become Bhutan's first Queen Regnant. She was born in September 2023. There is also a strong possibility that Queen Jetsun Pima, who is only 33 and the world's youngest consort, will have more sons to push her daughter further down the succession line. Therefore, it is unlikely that Bhutan will have a Queen Regnant anytime soon. Tonga. The last independent monarchy in Oceania was established by a constitution in 1845. Of their 5 monarchs since, there has been 1 Queen Regnant, Salot Topo III, who ruled from 1918 to 1965 and saw her people through World War II. The throne is passed via male preference primogeniture. The current king, Tupou VI, has a daughter and 2 sons. His second-born, Crown Prince Tupotua Ulakalala, is heir apparent. Next is his son, Prince Tafahau Manumatongo, who was born in 2013 and is 10 years old. Tonga does not have a tradition of abdication. If Prince Tafahau has only daughters, or the law is changed and his firstborn is a daughter, then Tonga may get its second Queen Regnant around the year 2083. However, if for any reason he does not become king, after him in the succession are his 3 younger sisters, Princess Halivaliu, Princess Nanasipau, and Princess Salot. The United Kingdom and Commonwealth realms are technically 16 different monarchies. However, they are all bonded in a personal union under one sovereign. The crown, which for 70 years was defined by one woman, Elizabeth II, will be resting on the heads of kings for many years to come. In the likely course of events, after Charles III dies or abdicates, William, Prince of Wales, will become King William V, and after him, his son will become King George VII. But how quickly might these changeovers happen? And is there a chance that the UK might get a Queen Regnant sooner? The British monarchy does not have a tradition of honorable abdication. Despite many of Elizabeth's fellow sovereigns choosing to retire, she remained queen until her dying day. Her Majesty didn't give her exact reasons to the public, though many have been speculated. British monarchs vow and are expected to reign for life. Her uncle, King Edward VIII, broke his vow to marry his mistress, Wallis Simpson, whose 2 divorces and Nazi sympathies made her an unacceptable queen. Edward dumped the throne on his younger brother, George VI, Elizabeth's beloved father. The family never forgave the runaway king, and young Princess Elizabeth heard plenty of slander against abdication in her formative years. Additionally, as the queen aged and struggled to perform her royal duties, she likely held fast in order to remain the popular focal point of the monarchy, rather than passing the spotlight to her rather unloved heir, Charles. He was 73 when he finally got the job he'd been waiting for all his life. Despite #NotMyKing protests, his reign so far has been uneventful, and the Republican groundswell many hoped for has not emerged. After waiting so long to get the throne, it is unlikely that Charles would choose to abdicate in favor of his son anytime soon, if at all. William may himself be elderly when he becomes king, and exactly how elderly will play a part in his own decision whether or not to abdicate for his own son. If George lives to be the age of his grandmother, 96, and if his firstborn child is a daughter, then the soonest Britain could get a female monarch is 2109. It may be slightly sooner if the Brits loosen up on abdication, but a lot longer if George's firstborn is a son. However, there is one other path to a queen that is a slim possibility. George may not want to be king and pull an Edward VIII. Today, there are far fewer things which can disqualify someone from the throne. Royals can now marry divorcees, Catholics, or even someone of the same sex. But times have changed in other ways too. If the public sees an heir as unsuitable, or if they just don't want all the pressure of the top job, then it is possible that someone else may step up. And until George has a child of his own, the next in line is his sister, Charlotte. Admittedly, her accession is pretty unlikely. Royals are all about primogeniture. It's their whole claim to fame. But throughout history, there have been many second siblings who unexpectedly ended up wearing the crown. Whatever happens in the future, it is likely to be many decades before Britain changes their national anthem from God Save the King back to God Save the Queen. Being a royal might seem glamorous, but it's also hard work. They balance a packed schedule of diplomatic engagements, royal tours, and charity events, and they do it all with a smile on their face. So, palaces stock plenty of caffeinated beverages to keep that royal energy up. While the Brits may be famous for their tea, it's coffee that keeps the rest of the world's princesses feeling perky. And the coffee that's been keeping me energized comes from Atlas Coffee Club. This subscription service curates the world's best Arabica beans delivered freshly to your door. Each month, I receive a coffee from one of 50 different countries, plus beautiful postcards detailing the nation's coffee history and tasting notes on the beans, while enjoying a decadent cold brew from Brazil with notes of chocolate, butter, and walnut. I learned that coffee was first smuggled into the nation in 1727 inside a bouquet of flowers. I bet Crown Princess Victoria of Sweden would love this cup from her mother's home country. Atlas pays above fair trade prices for their coffees, and they focus on sustainability, so you can feel good about what's in your cup. They roast in small batches and prepare the coffee to your preference, be it whole bean, ground, K-cup, or Nespresso pod. Right now, you can get 50% off plus free shipping on your first month of coffee by clicking the link below. Every month with Atlas, I love learning about coffee and culture from around the world. And if you love coffee too, you've got to try Atlas to taste coffees you can't get anywhere else. And now, back to history. Monaco. The micronation on the French Riviera has been ruled by the same family, the Grimaldis, since 1297. There have only been two sovereign princesses. In 1458, Claudine was forced to abdicate in favor of her husband, and in 1731, Louise ruled for 10 months before dying of smallpox. The present monarch is Prince Albert II. In 2014, his wife delivered twins, first Princess Gabriella, then Prince Jacques. Because the throne is passed by male preference primogeniture, Jacques outranks his sister and is heir apparent. If the succession goes as expected, the next possible Princess Regnant might be his daughter, assuming he has only daughters or if the law is changed. Monaco has no history of abdication, so this puts the possible changeover around the same time as the UK in 2109. If for any reason Jacques does not take the throne, the next two people in the succession are his older sister Gabriella and his aunt Caroline. Denmark. The nation which had the last Queen Regnant, Margrethe II, is the last on the list with no females in the direct line of succession. Margrethe was the first Danish monarch to voluntarily abdicate since Eric III in 1146. Considering the precedent she just set and the amount of praise she received for her decision, it seems likely that her son, King Frederik X, will choose to abdicate himself. He is currently 56, so he may get another 3 decades of healthy reigning, and then abdicate in his 80s. This puts his son, Crown Prince Christian's succession around 2054, when he's 48. When he was 4, Denmark changed their succession to absolute primogeniture. So if Christian's first child is female, then she will be a future Queen Regnant. If Christian also follows his grandmother's example and abdicates in his 80s, that puts a possible female accession around 2090. As the 18-year-old crown prince enters adulthood and his training as a future monarch kicks into high gear, it becomes increasingly unlikely that anything will stand in the way of him becoming king someday. But in the slim chance that he does not reign, the next in line is his sister, Princess Isabella. Now we exit the antechamber of conjecture and enter the privy chamber of probability. The next 5 monarchies all have living females in the direct line of succession, who will, with increasing certainty, be future Queens Regnant. Norway gained independence in 1905 after 500 years of being subordinate to first Denmark, then Sweden. Since then, they have had 3 monarchs, all male. The current king, Harald V, inherited the throne in 1991. He is 86 years old and has been suffering increased health problems. His son and heir, Crown Prince Haakon, has been taking on increased royal duties and public visibility. Harald has long stated that he would not abdicate. The abdication of his cousin, Queen Margrethe, renewed questions about his decision. However, the king confirmed, when questioned by the press on January 23, 2024, that he plans to remain on the throne until his death. Unfortunately, due to the Sailor King's advanced age and declining health, it may not be too much longer before Norway welcomes King Haakon VIII. The nation adopted absolute primogeniture back in 1990. However, the change was not retroactive, so the crown prince, who was born in 1973, remains in line ahead of his older sister, Martha Louise. The princess has faced controversy over her claims of clairvoyance and her relationship with a notorious shaman. So despite Norwegians ranking second in the world in gender equality, they don't seem to mind getting the intelligent and charismatic Prince Haakon instead. Norwegians have another future queen to look forward to, Haakon's daughter, Princess Ingrid Alexandra, who was born in 2004. The 19-year-old princess is well into her education and training as a future monarch. If her father reigns until the age of 90, then Norway will get its first Queen Regnant around the year 2063. Spain has passed the throne via male preference primogeniture for hundreds of years. Its many sub-kingdoms have had a total of 17 Queens Regnant, though there has only been one Queen of a united Spain, Isabella II. The current king, Felipe VI, is 56 years old. His father, Juan Carlos, abdicated in 2014 at the age of 76. However, it is not clear if Felipe will do the same. Juan Carlos was and still is facing controversy for corruption and embezzlement. He handed the throne to his more popular son in order to save the monarchy. Assuming Felipe avoids getting himself in a similar jam, he may not feel the need to pass the throne on. Whatever he decides, after him will come his daughter, Leonor. She was born in 2005. During her mother's second pregnancy, there was debate about changing the succession from male preference to absolute primogeniture, so Leonor would remain heir even if she had a baby brother. When Sophia was born, the issue was dropped and the law was never changed. So technically, Leonor is heir presumptive. She could still be displaced if her father has a legitimate son, but considering her parents' age, this is unlikely. 18-year-old Leonor, who holds the traditional title of the heir, Princess of Asturias, is currently serving in the military and has made several public appearances, endearing herself to her future subjects. Assuming Felipe reigns to the age of 90, Spain will see her reign around the year 2058. The Netherlands had 3 successive Queens Regnant over 123 years. Queen Wilhelmina inherited the throne in 1890 after outliving her 3 brothers. Her only child, Juliana, was queen from 1948 to 1980, and Beatrix, the eldest of 4 daughters, reigned until 2013, when her son, King Willem Alexander, broke the chain of queens. His mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother all chose to abdicate in their late 60s or early 70s, so there is a good chance he will do the same. He is currently 56, so if he steps down at 75, the Netherlands will once again have a queen around 2043. With so many beloved queens in its past, it's little wonder the Netherlands was an early adopter of absolute primogeniture in 1983. Willem Alexander's eldest daughter, Catharina Amalia, is heir apparent. The 20-year-old Princess of Orange is currently studying political science at university. She has given numerous public addresses, gone on a royal tour of the Dutch Caribbean, and is well into her training as a future queen. If, for any reason, she does not become queen, she has 2 younger sisters, Princess Alexia and Princess Ariane, who are second and third in line to the throne. Belgium broke off from the Netherlands in 1831. Their 7 monarchs since have all been kings. In 2013, Albert II abdicated during a controversial paternity suit and handed the throne to his son, Philippe, who is the current king. Much as in Spain, it is not clear if the previous monarch abdicating amid scandal will inspire future generations. King Philippe is now 64. If he remains on the throne until the age of 80, then Belgium will get its first Queen Regnant in 2040. Belgium adopted absolute primogeniture in 1991, so Philippe's eldest child, Elizabeth, was destined to be queen from birth. The 22-year-old princess is a student at Oxford University, where she reads history and politics, and is on a rowing crew. Elizabeth volunteers to help children, the elderly, and homeless and disabled people. She speaks 5 languages and has gone on several royal tours. Until she has a child of her own, Elizabeth is followed in the succession by her 2 brothers and then her sister, though it seems unlikely that much will stand in the way of the accomplished princess becoming Belgium's first Queen Regnant. Before I reveal the nation that is most likely to give the world its next Queen Regnant, let's take a look at 2 wildcards. These monarchies have successions and situations that mean a female monarch could be a few years or many decades away. Andorra. This micronation on the border of France and Spain was established in 1278 by a treaty between the Bishop of Urgell in Spain and the Count of Foix in France. The bishop and the count became co-princes of a diarchy. The Catholic Bishop of Urgell, who is elected by the Pope, will always be a man. Twice there was a Countess of Foix, and thus a co-princess of Andorra. Catherine, Queen of Navarre, ruled from 1483 to 1517, and Jeanne, Queen of Navarre, ruled from 1555 to 1572. Jeanne's son, Henri, became King of France, and he rolled the monarchy of Andorra under the French throne, which barred women. Since the fall of the French monarchy, the democratically elected President of France has also served as the co-prince of Andorra. The current co-prince is President Emmanuel Macron. France has never had a female president, but there are no laws preventing a woman from being elected to the top job in either nation. French presidents can serve a maximum of 2 consecutive 5-year terms. So in 2027, the nation will hold an election, and Macron will not be on the ballot. Perhaps then France will get its first woman president, and Andorra will get its 3rd sovereign princess. Thailand. The title of the monarch, Pho Kun, means father ruler. They've never had a mother ruler before, but in 1974, the constitution was amended to allow a princess to succeed the throne. Rather than primogeniture, the king has the right to select his own heir from among his children. As Thai kings are polygamous, there are usually plenty of sons to choose from. With the current king, Rama X, the situation is a bit different. Rama has had 5 wives and 7 children. The eldest and only child from his first marriage is Princess Barakiti Yaba, born in 1978. He divorced her mother and married an actress, who gave birth to 4 sons and a daughter. In 1996, Sujorani decamped to the UK with her children. The king disowned their sons, but abducted their 9-year-old daughter, Siriwanawari, and raised her in Thailand. She is still a princess, but is not considered likely to be a successor. Third wife, Sirasmi, has one son, Dipangkon, born in 2005. As the only son who is officially recognized as a prince, he is presumed to be the future king. However, his father has not officially named an heir. There are rumors that the 18-year-old prince has developmental delays. There have also long been rumors that King Rama intends to name his oldest child, Princess Barakitiyaba, as his heir, breaking centuries of patriarchal tradition. She holds law degrees from universities in Thailand and Cornell University. She has extensive experience in government and foreign affairs and has done significant work for the rights of incarcerated women. However, in 2022, she collapsed while walking her dogs. She is believed to still be in a coma, though very little information about the health of the 45-year-old royal has been released. In 2023, Rama's long-disowned second son, Vattaraisorn, made an unexpected trip to Bangkok for Father's Day. While eating pad thai and visiting temples, he sparked rumors of a new succession plan. The 45-year-old is a lawyer in New York City and is involved with the Thai-American community. Thailand doesn't have a tradition of abdication, so 72-year-old King Rama will likely remain on the throne until his death. He might pull a Mick Jagger and father more sons, or one of the current 3 main contenders might be selected. If Princess Bakitiraba's health is better than suspected, there is a real possibility that Thailand may have a future Queen Regnant. And now, the nation that, barring any big surprises, will give the world its next Queen Regnant is Sweden. The current king, Carl XVI Gustaf, inherited the throne from his grandfather back in 1973, when he was 27. Last year, the 77-year-old monarch celebrated his 50th Golden Jubilee. Some wondered if the king, who has faced scandal over reports of numerous infidelities, might use the opportunity to announce his abdication, but no such revelation occurred. The king has stated that he has no intention of abdicating because he believes he still has something to contribute, and because no one in the Bernadotte dynasty has voluntarily stepped down before. However, since the abdication of his cousin, Queen Margrethe, there has been renewed speculation about if the king will or should step down in the near future. Whatever King Carl decides to do, his daughter, Crown Princess Victoria, is waiting in the wings. She was born in 1977. At 2, she got a little brother, Carl Philip, who displaced her as heir. But in 1980, Sweden became the first nation in the world to institute absolute primogeniture. The king objected to his son losing the position he was born to, but the Swedish people disagreed, and Victoria became heir apparent. In her teens, she struggled with dyslexia, anxiety, and anorexia. She escaped the pressures of being a princess in the United States, where she sought therapy and studied political science at Yale University. Since returning home, Victoria has been open about her mental health struggles and endeared herself to her people with her down-to-earth attitude. In 2011, she married her personal trainer, Daniel Westling. Victoria has undertaken numerous government duties and state visits, and is involved in multiple charities. The incredibly popular 46-year-old crown princess is poised to become Sweden's next monarch, and probably the world's next Queen Regnant in the next 1 to 2 decades. And after her, there will likely be another queen, her eldest child, Estelle, who was born in 2012. So, while the world may be without a Queen Regnant for the first time in 300 years, the future is definitely female. Want even more tea on history? Check out the History Tea Time podcast. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, comment your thoughts, and check out my other royal history videos. If you really want to help, please consider supporting me on Patreon. A link is in the description. Thank you for watching.